In a world of sky-high bases, imposing shooting floors and looming heli towers, sometimes it calls for you to keep your head down, keep a low profile, and not to draw any attention to the place you call home and where you keep all of your loot. Sometimes a large base can broadcast your wealth to everyone else, or a tall design can get you spotted from miles away. For this reason, I bring you the Lalo. A discreet and unassuming 2x1 base that has a wipe's worth of loot holding capabilities and the security features and upgrades you need to keep it all safe. If you're looking for a simple starter base that's cheap to build, easy to expand, and won't attract the attention of would-be raiders while giving the curious few the impression of a high cost and low profit raid, then the Lalo is the base for you. Let's first have a look at the base. Coming in through a standard airlock, we are met with our stability bunker that we will demonstrate shortly. To the left we have our jump up and way to the roof. Moving under the bunker, we find room for furnaces, traps and lighting. We now turn to the core of the 2x1, and as you can see, with multiple levels of storage, the layout provides you with an abundance of loot room. By moving to the middle of the 2x1, we have access to 10 large and 7 small boxes, combined with room for drop boxes and barbecues, all reachable from the centre of the base. While the design is open to adaptation, I enjoy a layout where all the movement within the base can be kept crouched and silent, while still reaching all of the items you may need. As a solo, the need to pretend to not be online while returning from runs is all too common, and I find this arrangement solves that issue. Moving back out of the 2x1, to demonstrate the bunker, simply pass out of the core and place a half wall facing away and then a floor triangle here, upgrading this to match the material of the core. Now to the roof. A furnace is used here for the jump up, and a door gives the design a much needed second entrance, something that can be vital for dealing with door campers. Up here we can also see our roof honeycomb, which we discuss the importance of this and upgrading the internal honeycomb during the build. The Lalo plays on its small height to not stand out, but also features a small floor plan that can fit in most locations you'd want to build and doesn't require the continuous expansion that can often draw unwanted attention. With that said, the Lalo can be thought of as a core and expanded depending on your ongoing wipe requirement. The starter for the Lalo looks like this. The floor plan is simple, but the raised and upgraded stone foundation is an important step worth noting. To get the start done, this will cost you around 5k wood and 500 stone, but you can always balance that out if you manage to get more stone nodes. Let's get into the build. The first step will be to place down 2 square foundations flush to the ground, and then 2 triangle foundations with the right hand triangle being raised. Then simply work around the base placing full walls. Now work backwards placing half walls to level off the base's roof matching the wall above the raised foundation. Now you can place a double door frame and half wall above this too. The base can now be upgraded. I'll do so in wood to begin with, but this should be upgraded to stone as soon as possible. Once we've sealed the roof in and placed the door, it's time to place our TC. Because our tool cupboard is against the foundation that we'll be looking to upgrade, we'll need to make sure the TC is not completely touching the stone foundation. Leave a little gap here like I do, but don't worry, we don't actually lose any additional loot room by doing so. We can now place our starting boxes and begin farming up around our base and getting our furnaces cooking for metal. To add a little more temporary security, we can add a second door to our main loot room, however I advise leaving the half wall above this door frame empty for now. For the Lalo, we'll be placing and filling our boxes from the top down, as getting to the top area of the base will become more difficult as the wipe goes on. To add shelves for the boxes, first head out and around the base and place a triangle, a half wall and a triangle floor on the opposite wall to where the stone foundation is. This will allow us to place a floor triangle through the wall from the inside and give us more space to place boxes. This will also allow us to jump up to the additional shelves we'll add to each end of the base. A furnace can also be used to jump up here too. Currently our starter should look like this, with the next step being to upgrade it all to stone, add storage and work on adding an airlock, bunker and jump up combination to our base. As mentioned, look to place the large boxes on the topmost shelves by first climbing up and placing 3 large boxes above the TC like this. You can then place 2 large boxes and a small box on the other end like this. Now you can seal up the gap between by placing a half wall with the hard side facing away from the TC. With the base now full of boxes and those boxes filling with loot, it's time to beef up the entrance to our base. Leaving the base, place 1 low triangle foundation here and surround these 2 with raised foundations. This will create our bunker. Then surround these walls, leaving space for our 2 single door airlock entrance. Fill in the roof but leave space above the original raised foundation as this will become our jump up. Now the doors are down, let's add our bunker. The bunker is done by placing a half wall with a full wall on top. Remove the bottom half and upgrade the top. This can now be used as demonstrated earlier. With the extra space here, we shall place the remaining furnaces and look to keep these running around the clock, providing plenty of cooked metal and sulfur for the wipe ahead. If you haven't already, this is a great time to upgrade all the doors and start filling out the base with workbenches, research tables, and further Dropbox storage in our non-TC loot room. By now, the laylo is beginning to take shape, with the next steps being to add honeycomb to the base and apply upgrades along the way that make raiding this base annoying for would-be raiders. The base is still only 1 stone wall to loot, so after some additional farming, we should be in a good place to fix that. First, let's go up to our roof. Up here, place triangles around the 2x1 like this. Upgrade these to stone. These will act as a guide when we build the rest from the ground. While we're up here, we'll also add our roof honeycomb. Surround the 2x1 with half walls, upgrade them to stone, and now place another half wall in between the 2 squares to prevent splash damage raiding into both loot rooms. It's worth noting here that because a big part of the laylo design is fitting as much storage as possible into a 2x1, a good bit of advice is to use this time where the roof and walls of the base are exposed to upgrade everything from the outside. For the roof, I recommend upgrading this to HQM as top-down raiding is a common thing. Let's head down to the floor and start working around the base, applying the same rule and upgrading all the walls for the 2x1 visible from the outside to metal. Don't stress though, we can do this later from the inside, but this can become fiddly. Now, with it all upgraded, we'll go around the base placing and upgrading triangle foundations under the triangle floors we placed earlier. For the double wall, my recommendation is to upgrade these to metal. We'll be covering this over with stone, but this hidden upgrade alone can really put off raiders who may not have predicted a metal wall within. The final step for our base is to honeycomb the jump up area. Now that the build is complete and the upgrades are being worked on, we can draw our attention to stuffing the base full of boxes. While the placement of these is up to you, I find the balance of storage and ease of movement through the base to be perfect for a solo and can even nicely fit a duo. There is also ample room for lighting, electrics and traps, all without any of it getting in the way of your access to boxes. And that's the Lalo, a nondescript and hard to spot 2x1 that holds more loot than raiders would ever imagine and can be farmed up for and built on the first day of wipe. In terms of upkeep, the base will cost you less than 1000 metal, around 1.5k stone and just over 10 HQM per day. A low total that could be gathered with ease, leaving you to focus on the grind and being a Chad. The Lalo has now become my full-time solo base, and if you have any ideas that can improve the design, please let me know in the comments below. If you have found this video helpful, please give it a like, and as always, a subscription would go a long way too. Thanks so much for watching.